Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you, and today we're going to talk about whether or not trenbolone side effects are actually overplayed or underplayed. So, before we get into that, I just want to give a big thank you to everybody out there supporting the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. The support keeps growing, the comments are wonderful. I can't thank you enough. Anybody out there that hasn't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Click that like button if you're enjoying the content. And also, after you subscribe, make sure to click that bell notification so that you don't miss any of the content that I'm producing quite often now. The more we get this channel to grow, the more content I'm going to produce. And it's awesome. I can't thank you guys enough. So let's dive into trenbolone here. Are the side effects overplayed, underplayed, or just straight up? Okay, this is a tough one, because I am going to make arguments in both directions. There are groups of people that definitely overplay the side effects. I can tell you that. Now, there's a few reasons as to why. Some people dose tren way too high. Just way too much. I remember my first time using tren going against every principle that I ever taught anybody and being the most greedy prick possible. And guess what it got me? It got me to have to stop my cycle early and to regret it and to never do it again and to have this painful image and almost PTSD remembrance of the, I hate to say trauma that I caused, but the just horrible situation I caused myself. From being on top of the world to this low in a matter of about 3 days, oh man, never again. I can tell you right now, getting greedy with tren is a bad idea. But, you know, people do overplay the side effects pretty high. I was one of those people, basing it off of an experience that I had. The key here is dosing it properly and not getting greedy. The side effects are very real, and this is how they're underplayed, because a lot of meatheads act like there's no side effects or who cares or da-da-da-da. Look, tren is not for everybody, and tren is definitely not necessary for everybody. It's very polarizing because of how effective that it can be. And I think one of the most polarizing things about it, or one of the things that draws people to it, is because you can get away with not having the cleanest diet and still getting results like you're eating perfectly clean. And I think that in itself, in fact, I know that's one of the biggest draws to it. And I find that I understand. Let me put it that way. I completely understand, because look, diet is the hardest part of all this, and it's the most important part of this. And it's an ongoing battle. I don't care who you are. Doesn't matter. And it's always going to be a battle. So if you're able to not have to live in that disciplined tunnel where you're eating like I do, the same things at the same times every day and da-da-da-da-da to the point of where you want to go jump off your roof, you know, then tren is, the allure is, it's completely understandable. Not to mention that it's so strong in what it does and what it accomplishes. I mean, it does so many different things that we know of. I mean, but nutrient partitioning, to me, is one of the biggest draws to it for so many people. But the side effects are very, very real. Don't kid yourself. The night sweats, the insomnia, the actual aggression that it can cause, and the way that it can play with your mentals. That's the thing for me that was really, really rough. Because I'm pretty stable when it comes to my mentals. Generally, I'm always drawn in, keyed in on what I'm doing. I don't get too high or too low generally. And this just, I mean, this just threw me completely off almost every single time, regardless of the dosing. And everybody's different, right? So I can't just base it off me, but I take people that I've coached and the thousands upon thousands of people I've dealt with over the years. And it's very, very real. Okay, it is very, very real. The suppression is very real. People that get, you know, I want to be careful how I term these things on these videos so I don't get in trouble. Erectile dysfunction, let's just put it that way, instead of the terms I want to use that come along with that. Or some people will say that their libido's too high. There's arguments about, you know, using double test or no test or less test. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on about side effects mitigating them. Progesterone, prolactin issues with tren. There is a very, very long list of problems that can occur with tren. how do you then say that they're overplayed? Well, because people will act like you'll get them all. And that's not necessarily true. Here's an example. I've run Tren 5 times, and I've only had the night sweats twice, but it was horrific. Horrific. And I was dosed at the same dose every time but my first time when I got too greedy, and I never got the night sweats that time. But it's just an example to go to show you. I have had some aggression with it. Nothing crazy, but I'm not like the most overly aggressive person in the world. I'm fiery Italian that can sometimes, and my wife will tell you, snap too quickly, but I've really tried to not do that. But Tren did not help in that regard. For me, the worst was emotional. Just because I like to be in control of my emotions, and I generally am really, really well, but this just threw me for a loop almost every time. And it's the feeling down and feeling like everything I was doing was wrong, and everything I've done is like the end of the world, and da-da-da-da-da, and I don't like that. That is not me. So that threw me off. But, there are people that act like there's just no side effects with Tren, and don't be a bitch about this and that. And look, I have a major problem with people that act like that because they don't care about tomorrow. They have no other care in the world other than their body and how they look. And hey, I understand because I am very, very bad when it comes to that. But look, you've got to have some sense of tomorrow and your family and people you care about and things. I mean, some people literally don't care about anything or any of that at all. And I am not good with that because most people do. And teaching people this ridiculous behavior, I take very personally because I spend so much time trying to teach you to do it the right way. And I just think it's wrong. If you want to live that way, hey, it's your life. Do whatever the hell you want. But don't encourage others. And I have a big problem with that. And that's where they're underplayed in a major, major way. Because there are people out there that act like there's no side effects or they're just way overblown. You have to have a grip on this and understand to not go too extreme either way. I will tell you this, that Tren is one of the harshest steroids out there. It's not something that beginners should use, novices. It should not be ran on the first cycle. You should really, completely, fully understand to the highest extent what it is you're using, how to use it, everything about it inside and out. That I will tell you. That is imperative. But people under and overplay these side effects. Just understand they're very real. They can be mitigated. You don't need to run long Tren cycles. You don't need to run crazy amounts of dose. A little bit goes a long way. This is all very, very important to understand. So take things with a grain of salt when they sound too crazy and realize that the side effects are very, very real, but you can control them or mitigate them if you run it properly and don't get too greedy. So there you have it. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.